welcome back to the channel. My name is Katie. If you saw the title of today's video, we're going to keep on this Manson trial because this is just getting more and more interesting. I already done a couple videos on that, so make sure and go check those out if you haven't. I'll have links somewhere in cards and description. But the Marilyn Manson trial is heating up. It's actually going to be in August. I don't know if it's going to be televised. I hope it is. I'm kind of wondering if we're going to have a Johnny Depp part 2 with this situation. And I know it's funny because people will be like, you look so excited when people are having all this destruction and chaos. It's that I think that when we talk about stuff like this, when it comes up, we can talk about these subjects, and I feel like we can end up taking a lot from them and learning a lot from them if we do things the right way. And that's what I like to do. I like to look at the media and see how stupid things are, or see what we can learn from it, right? So I am actually excited to see if this will be televised and how this will go. And if it is, your girl's gonna cover it. So, and you guys, if you like content like this, make sure and subscribe, hit the notification bell as well. I'm giving away a $100 gift card. I'm actually gonna announce the winner August 1st. It's coming up. Almost nobody is doing this, so you have a good shot. All you have to do, guys, like the video, subscribe, hit notifications, comment, share the content, and watch this video from start to finish. You're entered. Do it for every video you see, because the more times you do it, the more times you are entered. And I'll announce the winner in a couple days. So let's go into the situation with Manson. What is happening? Well, as we know, he filed a defamation suit against his ex, Evan Rachel Wood. Evan Rachel Wood has come out in several different news articles and several different magazines, and she even had a 2-part documentary called Phoenix Rising on HBO. And in that, she has named Manson as the person who did A-word behavior to her, even going as far as to say he R-worded her. Please infer what R-wording means. Now, with all of that being said, more and more things are coming to light that this may be another hoax. I'm not saying it is yet. I'm not saying it isn't. So understand I haven't yet taken a side. I think we have to see more evidence come out. I've always said, though, the hard thing with evidence is when you're in that kind of situation, you're not allowed to gather evidence. Sometimes there is no evidence. The evidence is thrown out, or you might not know to gather it because you're under trauma. And the person who's doing the A-word behavior will try to get evidence against you, especially if it's reactive A-word, A-bus, E-R, please infer. I can't say it because of YouTube. And as a result of all of that, you can walk away with, you're the one that looks like you're the A-word person, and the other person is clean and scot-free. This is how sociopaths and narcissists work. By the way, I don't think I'm saying that that's what's happening. I'm not. We don't know yet. What I'm saying is this is a very common thing that does happen. I've been through it. Many people have been through that. Because when it comes to sociopaths and narcissists, their image and how they look is number one. It is one of the number one things when it comes to that. So it's very interesting, but there's more and more evidence that's showcasing really shady stuff on Evan's part. And one of them is that she faked FBI letters to try to recruit people to the documentary. And what I mean by that is Marilyn Manson has several accusers that have come forward. What we found out is Ilma Gore, who is the ex-girlfriend of Evan Rachel Wood, who's also in the Phoenix Rising documentary. She and Evan, in this situation, faked FBI letters to send out to a group of women and people to entice them to come out and speak about their A-word behavior that Manson did. But a lot of these people we're finding out have pretty shady pasts and were shady to Manson. So is this a hoax? Let's take it a step further. Now her ex, Jamie Bell, that she has a child with, is speaking out, saying that these allegations with Manson are false, that she is just using the Manson claim to be able to take her son away from him, and she's been withholding their son, and she also did the fake FBI letters with him, and he is speaking out. So again, this is actually really heating up. There's a lot of interesting stuff. Let's go over those details and see if my mic cuts. Okay. It's weird. Typically, if I do it this way, it's okay. If I push it this way, it cuts out. Then I have to do a little cut and unplug and replug. So here we go. This is from Radar Online, and it says, court bombshell. Jamie Bell accuses ex-wife Evan Rachel Wood of preventing him from seeing their young son. Evan Rachel Wood and her ex-husband Jamie Bell were involved in a nasty court battle last year where he fought to see their son, Radar has learned. Radar Online has obtained bombshell court filings made by Wood's custody battle with her ex. The two share a son named Jack. In a declaration dated March 2022, the actress was fighting to keep the court battle in Nashville and out of Los Angeles. She said, given the dangers posed to Jack and me if we were forced to relocate to Los Angeles, and the dangers are about ex-Marilyn Manson, and it says, the actress then talked about her ex, Marilyn Manson, who she has accused of A-word. The shock rocker denied the claims and sued Wood for defamation, claiming she fabricated her stories. In the custody battle declaration, Wood said, "I am a key witness in a pending criminal investigation. In connection with the investigation, I allege that I was the victim of torture, R-word, and P-word grooming by an intentionally known public figure." P-word grooming, that one I'm curious about. Now here's the thing, and I'll explain why. Grooming, yes, we can say grooming. She met him when he was, she met him when she was 18 and they dated when she was 19. Technically, those are legal, he was in his 30s. Those are technically legal ages, but that power imbalance right there is very, very big cause for concern because that can signify grooming type behavior. But P-word would mean the ages of 13 and under, which she was not, unless she is alleging that he does P-word behavior, which would be awful. And the thing is, at least with Amber and Johnny, I don't think she ever alleged P-word behavior. That's almost worse in the minds of our society than somebody who has just gone out and ended somebody's life, right? And I'm saying, I have to be very careful how I speak on YouTube, guys. I'm sorry. I know how annoying this is. It's so annoying for me because I'll lose my train of thought having to word it a certain way. But P-word behavior is almost like, in society, the worst possible thing that you could do to somebody, right? Aside from just ending them. And is it really gone this far? I wonder. It says, she told the court, "I'm extremely afraid of the alleged offender. I have suffered severe traumatic physical and emotional injury at his hands, and I am afraid that he will seek retribution against me for testifying by harming me, our son, or members of our family." Manson has denied all allegations. Wood said she was informed by investigators that her and her family's safety were at risk. The actress said she decided to leave Los Angeles and exclusively reside in Tennessee in November 2020, and it says, "At one time, did I conceal from Jamie our whereabouts," she said. In December 2020, she says, "I did do it." In December 2020, Wood told Bell about her criminal investigations he was involved in. Despite this, she claimed he filed a case in California to fight her for custody. Wood said Bell. I guess Wood said Bell had known for years that she planned to raise Jack outside of Los Angeles. She moved their kid in 2016 and made it his home base. There is certainly more detail into our relationship and my concerns regarding Jamie's judgment and parenting that I could provide the court, and will do so, is part of my response to Jamie's request for custody," she wrote. Wood said, "I have not kept Jack from Jamie, who has the means and opportunity to visit Jack whenever he wishes. I have conveyed to Jamie my very real and deep concerns regarding my and Jack's safety should we take up residence in Los Angeles." Bell filed a declaration in the case dated March 2021. At the time, he said, "Evan continues to withhold our son Jack from me out of state." The actor said, "Even abruptly and unilaterally deciding to withhold Jack from me from mid-December 2020. He said his efforts to work out a temporary custody plan were shut down by Wood. He said he would never consent to Jack living outside of California. He called the idea that the case would continue in Tennessee absurd. Bell said he never lived in the state and only visited briefly. Bell called Wood's recent behavior alarming. He said he supports Evan and any victims of A-word. However, he said whatever fears Evan has regarding third parties should have nothing to do with me or custody of our son. I do not even think of the short and long-term psychological harm Evan might be inflicting upon Jack with this kind of talk and my prolonged separation from him." So this one gets really weird. It says, Bell described an incident on FaceTime where Jack told him he drew a picture of a man who had been hurting him. Evan jumped up on the call and corrected him, saying, "Not the man hurting you, the man hurting me." So Jack is very aware of the situation. And this is going to be kind of hard. And sound off if you're a parent what you think about this. Jack's aware of the situation. I guess on some level, if she really thinks that Manson is some kind of harm, she kind of has to let him be aware. But how do you do that in a way that's not going to harm the child? And the child has to be hearing conversations the mom is having, and I'm not even saying that Evan's doing this intentionally, overhearing stuff, right? And so the child may be running around feeling like they're not safe. Here's a question though. Could the angle be argued that if all this is true, the child isn't safe with Evans and should go back to the father? I'm not saying that's the case. And I'm not saying that in situations like this, the child should not be with their mother. I'm wondering where this is going to go in court is all I'm saying. And so he says, Bell said Jack said the man's name is Brian, obviously pointing to Marilyn Manson, and he lives 3 miles from my house in Los Angeles, and said that this is why he was staying in Nashville. So it looks like the son knows everything. On a later date, he said Jack expressed concern for his safety and remained repeatedly, remained us repeatedly. I think reminded us, there's some typos in this, and reminded us repeatedly of the man who hurt his mom. He said he fears Evan is feeding this information to our 7. Well, yeah, where else is he going to get it? He said, I worry now that Evan is alienating me from Jack, even inadvertently. I simply want to normalize things for our son and bring him home to Los Angeles. Bell called himself a devoted father who wanted to see his kid. He said, I desperately need this court to help Jack get back home. I am still in shock at the direction this has taken. For 7 years, I shared equal custody of Jack with his mother, and now his mother has been keeping him from me since December. He said he has tried co-parenting therapy, mediation with a private judge, and communicating directly with Evan. This is an absolute nightmare. It makes no sense to me. I'm not trying to take Jack away from Evan. I just want to go back to shared custody we had in Los Angeles. So he's not even asking for full custody at this point. He just wants to be able to have this fair and balanced, which he should. And, you know, we have so many crap fathers, it's good to see one that seems to care. The declaration was filed in 2021, and the custody battle continued on. Manson filed the documents on his lawsuit to show the court Wood had used an alleged fake FBI letter when telling Bell about the alleged investigation, which is what we've talked about. So let's dive into this Let's dive into this, and this is where it's going to get interesting. So Wood has made several claims about Manson. One that concerns me is the P-word claim. Is there any evidence to even back this up? I'm going to have to dig in, but not from what I've seen. That is the worst possible allegation you can make on a person. Then she's caught writing fake FBI letters to women to recruit them to tell their stories about A-word. And I'm not here to say the stories did or didn't happen. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just going over the facts. Then she uses the same fake FBI letter on her ex-husband to say this is why she took their son out of state. He has said he's tried to see the son, and she continues to keep this from him. Here's the problem. Victims of A-word stuff have to be perfect. We have to look and act perfect. And the reason is when you come out against that type of thing, that type of evil that happens, you got to remember, you're going up against an evil person. They're going to be really, really hard and pick you apart right back. They're going to take all that evil energy and put it back. I'm not saying Manson did anything, by the way. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just explaining the dynamics. So as a result, when you're a victim, you have to be in a state of perfection because everything will be called out about you. But if you're going around and you are intentionally faking things like FBI documents and FBI investigations, and you're using that as recruiting tools, on top of using it as bargaining chips, and you're using it in court when it comes to custody, these are the things that concern me. Is this that Evan is really trying to protect her child? Or is this that she is faking things for attention and for money? But then she was an established actress. I think she'd won an Oscar. She was an established person in this situation, guys. So it begs the question, if that's the case, like with Amber, she's got borderline, she's got all these different things where she needs attention and this, that, and the other. Now, is that true when it comes to Evans? Could be. It could be we're in a similar Amber Heard situation, and it could be some deeper, darker past. Evan has come out and said that she went through A-word behavior growing up. And is that possible that's influenced her to where she is today, and that her mind is really messed up from that? I'm not saying it is, I'm not saying it isn't, but then here's the other thing. If she did grow up in those awful behaviors, which I hope she didn't, I pray nobody does, but if she did, it would actually lead more credibility and credence to people who grew up in those behaviors will attract those types. I've had people say this to me about the situations I've been through. I've been through several situations of people being awful, and they're like, good God, well, when does this become your fault? We can argue that. Here's the semantics of that, and there's truth to that. At the end of the day, my spiritual belief, not saying anybody has to think this way, and the way quantum mechanics and energy works, in my opinion, is, am I attracting all these experiences in? Yeah. And now we can argue that they started from trauma. I had a situation, my parents went through a custody battle, and I had a father who would call and threaten to end me and my sibling. There are recordings of this. I would hear it, and I would beg my dad not to. It's a really tough situation. And I realized, I think from that, I learned to normalize love as men hurting me. And it's something that I've been working out over time. So I've heard people say, like, and so yes, at the end of the day, anything I attract into my life is my responsibility, but you have to look at the whys. But it also, guys, is that society has normalized these behaviors so much and allowed men to get away with so much. And we know women do stuff too, not saying they don't, but it raises several questions. So the reason I'm pointing that out is when somebody typically goes through A-word behavior, especially if they've grown up in it, many times you'll see a string of relationships. And it's not necessarily, and that's the thing, that I'm not hunting these out. It's not that people are hunting these out. It's that people don't know, from trauma, they are attracting in what they perceive as love from the way that they grew up. And they don't know how to set boundaries, and they become wide open for P-word type of behaviors, people who prey on that sort of thing. Again, I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm just trying to give both sides of a perspective of how this stuff can go. So as a result, if Evan did really grow up in that, I can understand if she attracted that in, or if she did grow up in it. Here's the other part. What if she just, and I hate saying this, but this could be the truth. What if she doesn't even know what's a word and what's not because it's become so normalized to her and you can't see the difference? Just questions I have. What do you guys think? I'm so curious now. I love hearing you guys' opinion. So make sure and sound off in the comments and tell me. I always want to know what you guys think. Do you think that because Evans lied about the FBI letter and investigation that she's lying about more? I'm going to lean to this. It could be a situation where she felt desperate because she does feel like she is not safe with her and her son, and so that's what she did to try to make them safe. But if she is faking that and she is faking evidence for things, I hate to say this, but I think where there is smoke, where there is fire. What else is she faking? What else has she lied about? And how far does that go with Manson? And I don't have any conclusions yet. We're going to have to wait and see how this goes. Guys, if you like this type of content and you like this video, I'd love to have you around. Make sure and subscribe, hit that notification bell as well. Like I said, giving away a $100 gift card in the next couple days. All you have to do, it helps me, it helps the channel, helps you, it helps everybody, which I love. Like the video, subscribe, hit notifications, comment, share the content, watch a video from start to finish. You're entered, you're eligible. Okay, guys, I think that's it for me here. Take care, lots of love, lots of blessings. Till the next video, I'm giving everybody hugs, kisses, stay safe, and as always, your girl will see you soon. Bye, guys.